Hello everyone, welcome to Business. We begin with some news just coming into us. Ghana's economy in the third quarter of the year grew by 7.4% compared to 8.7% recorded in the same period last year. This indicates a marginal reduction in annual growth over the period. Industry recorded the highest growth of 11.7%, followed by the agri sector with a rate of 5.5%. The services sector had the least growth over the period with 3.5%. Acting government statistician Bauer there has been addressing the press, and we'll bring you more on that subsequently. Managing Director of the IMF, Christine Lagarde, is in South Africa after concluding a two-day working visit to Ghana. Ghana is set to complete the program with the fund in April 2019 after an assessment in early February next year. The IMF boss has been speaking exclusively to my colleague Georgia on what would be the big test for Ghana.
You know, I know that the team is working today, as we speak, with the finance minister's team, and of course they have to review numbers and to run them and to get to the weeds and the nitty-gritty details of it. But we are working in good cooperation, and I'm very hopeful that we will have the board meeting late January, early February.
There were people who were skeptical, and you played the documentary. That was a very good one, as well as the keynote address, where the picture was mixed. While some were so excited about the program, others were a little bit skeptical about it as well. For you, looking at what we've been exposed to, the shocks, I engage investors outside who said that, well, we are encouraged to engage Ghana because of a fund program. These are investors outside. But for you, for the skeptics, do you think that this program was indeed worth it?
I have no doubt that the program was worth it when I look at the numbers. Now, the real question is, could Ghana have done the same thing without our support? Yeah. Maybe. But you can't prove the counterfactuals from the past. I think what the investors will be looking at is whether Ghana, under current management, can actually stay the course and deliver not only political stability, for which it is well known, but also fiscal responsibility, and not go into a binge borrowing and binge spending simply because the elections are around the corner. I think that will be the big test.
Now, the Director General of the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority, Simon Alote, is forecasting the number of passengers using Kotoka International Airport to peak above last year's figure of 2.5 million following some reforms in the sector. This development, according to Mr. Alote, will have a huge impact on revenue from the aviation industry. Sheila Tamaklo reports.
Recent figures from the Ghana Airports Company Limited showed passenger numbers for 2017 saw an increase to about 2.5 million from 2.3 million in 2016. The increase was attributed to the removal of taxes on domestic airfares and the entrance of some new airlines. But speaking to Joy Business, Director General for the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority, Simon Alote, said passenger numbers for this year could see a further 7% increase following major reforms in the aviation sector.
We seen Air France doing daily flights now from 5 times a week. Brussels, it's now doing daily flights, and so has been Africa World commencing new West African destinations, and a lot of the foreign carriers are increasing their frequencies. So for 2018, we expect about 6 to 7% growth rate over last year's passenger throughput. So if you combine domestic and international, we should exceed 2.5 million passengers for 2018.
Engineer Simon Alote further added that the improvements in passenger numbers could translate into improved revenues for stakeholders in the aviation industry.
Revenues are based on passenger numbers, like the airport passenger service charge, the aviation safety charge are linked to the passenger. Others are based on aircraft movements, like for each landing or parking of an aircraft, there's a fee to pay. And the overflights, as you fly through the airspace without even landing in any airport in Ghana, you also pay for the service. So It's been good for the industry, I should say. That's a direct revenue to GC and GACL, but once passenger numbers are increasing, the allied agencies will also benefit.
The Director General for the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority described the overall performance of the aviation industry as positive following the completion of the new Terminal 3, as well as some regional airports and improvement of safety and navigation services. Sheila Tamaklu for Joy Business.
In other news, new managing director of Fidelity Bank, Julian Opuni, says the bank would still focus on branch openings despite its renewed focus on digital banking. According to him, there's still the need for some level of human involvement in bank transactions. Mr. Opuni addressed the media as the bank unveiled a new branch office at Osu Oxford Street here in Accra.
We have the general belief that for some time to come, Ghanaians will still require branches and a human interface, because there's an element of banking where you do need to have a human interface, and you know, with the level of education in our country, it has an impact on how people need to be assisted through various channels from ATMs, etc. So we still believe there's a place for branches, but we're very tactical in the rollout of our branches. We're in every region in Ghana. We have some plans to roll out more, if you like, more efficient and smaller presences. But more importantly, our agency network, where you can, do the majority of banking transactions. We have about 1,400, 1,500 of them, and we have every intention of growing that to about 5,000 across the country in the next few years. So Oxford Street is one of the busiest high streets, if not the busiest, in Ghana. We had a presence here, and we chose to remain here. The footfall, the catchment area, it stands to reason that it should have a flagship branch for any bank that's looking to reach out to the retail section of Ghana.
And that's it for business. There's more news after this break.